Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we'll be going through the GWS versus Western Bulldogs game, in which I guess Harry Himmelberg finally decided to turn up, but in honest, him and Haynes really have no impact on the actual Supercoach landscape or the fantasy landscape, just because they've been so poor outside of it that you wouldn't have just selected them this week, so their big scores don't really matter. A Whitfield 100 did damage in the Supercoach because it was all like a 118 or something. But outside of this game, no one really did score terribly well. We had Tom Green. He's going to be like 700k, almost to the point that post-buy, you may be able to go one trade from a Jeremy, if you have enough in the bank, from a Jeremy Sharp up to a Tom Green. Like, that is how cheap he's going to be. I need to check the... I will quickly just check that whilst doing the intro here. The... what is Jeremy Sharp's break even and what did he score? As I know, he didn't score the greatest. Jeremy Sharp in 88 actually. So yeah, Jeremy Sharp to Tom Green is looking like it's going to be about 120. Yeah, I would say about 130k come the end of this round. 130k to do that upgrade from Tom Green, who was averaging like 110 to start the season, to a rookie that was 280k. There was a 700k difference between those two come the start of the season, and now it's like 120, which shows the difference in that, in how those two went. But anyway, before we jump into this video, let me just do that quickly. Before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So, as you can see here, the Himmelberg went nuts, but it doesn't really matter. Haynes went nuts, doesn't really matter. Whitfield only was a 112, and I think that's because of the scaling effect of Western Bulldogs running away with it, and I mean, they really... And the thing about Whitfield, and I'm going to bring this up on my phone to bring up the kick-in stats, but I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Whitfield had 15, not kick-ins, probably 12 kick-ins, I would say. Wouldn't be surprised. 14 kick-ins. So he got 14 of his 31 disposals from kick-ins. Take the points, but yeah, 14 disposals, and I wouldn't be surprised if all of those were almost efficient. So that's where he got so much of his points. So is that, I think you can almost say at that point that is an inflated number, a 100. I don't think he had a really good game, especially didn't get involved in many of the marks. It was a wet conditions as well, so for a distributor like him to both have an efficient game for those on Supercoach and to get to a ton in general is a very, very good job, and you should be happy about that. Cornelio 90, I thought he was actually one of their better ones, even though... Sorry, why did I say better? Oh, sorry. I was looking at this and thinking he only had 10 touches. No, he had 22 touches, 2 and 6. That's not the worst, and yeah, I thought he was actually one of their better guys. 4 clearances, 4 clangers though, didn't go the best by foot, but I thought... especially in the first half, he was one of the guys out there. Jesse Hogan basically tried to single-handedly lift Western Sydney. Had 3 of the first, I think, 4, and then Toby Green chipped in for the 2 other ones there outside of the one that he kicked in between Hogan's goals. Brett Daniels, not really impactful. 19 touches, 7 tackles, 2 behinds. Tom Green, I thought, had a pretty good first half here. Let me just check the stats here. Football load, a 50 first half and then 13, 20, so 33 second. Wasn't that impactful fantasy-wise. Pretty efficient, I'm led to believe, yeah. 14 contested possessions, 7 clearances, 3 clangers, 62%. Disposal efficiency, 29 touches in the end for a 95 Supercoach. You sort of take that with how it was going. Perryman, this is the guy that we were talking about, and was this Perryman's first game? No, sorry, we were talking about... Cummins is the one that is the guy that I think will be ultra value next year. Perryman is around about that high 70s range, so I don't think he will be valued next year, unless he goes to a different side and becomes sort of the Whitfield role, which could happen. Maybe he goes to Adelaide and does that, as Adelaide don't really have that role guy at the moment, which could be good for him. So that would be the only watch with Perryman. Toby Green had some CBAs as well, I remember. I think he at least got a centre clearance as well. So, 9 contested possessions, 4 clearances. If I just go to Toby Green here, and he did kick the 3 goals as well. Let's just see here. 6 score involvements, 1 goal assists. Got a contested mark inside 50. Centre clearances, got 1 and 3 stoppage clearances. And yeah, he did all right. We'd just like to see more, I think, CBAs and stuff like that to really show that he was going well. He did have in the end, where is it here? 1 CBA in general. So he actually got a centre clearance off that CBA. So there's that, I believe. Briggs, 45 hitouts for 74, really just shows that he's not doing the non-disposal work that we really need to see from him. Callum Ward, 71, Connor O'Dun, 67, Bedford, 64, Harvey Thomas, 57, Sam Taylor, 53, Ricardo Buckley, Callahan, O'Halloran, Weir, 41, Cadman, Stone, and then Darcy Jones subbed out with a hammy on 13. And yeah, no Josh Fahey, which could have been good if he had actually gotten the game, but he hasn't gotten the game anytime soon, which is kind of annoying. If we just go here to Fahey as 277k midfielder, I think if he gets a game sometime soon, will be interesting, but also just want to check with him with his 2023 stats. If we look at it, 7 games for 33, 2022, does he have any stats? NA, NA, so he's got 7 games of 33. If he doesn't play a singular game, he will most likely be rookie priced, I would like to believe, or around about that marker, 33.7 times 0.7 times 9,030. He'd be 213k, which is pretty much rookie price. And if he's rookie price next year, if they do lose Perryman and potentially Cumming and potentially someone else, he will probably force his way into the side. And forcing his way into the side at 213k could be almost similar to Matty Roberts, I would suggest. Then we move over to the Western Bulldogs, and Ed Richards got off to a hot start. He was on about 55, I reckon, at quarter time, 45, and then got off to a pretty good start in the second quarter as well. And then he basically did nothing, and I think this is going to be similar to what Ed Richards does regularly. Bontempelli did nothing, which basically meant that Ed Richards took up the slack, and Treloar as well was really did nothing as well. He still got to a 94 Treloar, and it was a lot of contested possessions, 23 contested possessions for Treloar, but he could have easily gotten more, to be honest with you, and he was really efficient, which I'm pretty sure contested possession-wise, clearances, yeah, so if I was looking at Ed Richards, I probably wouldn't go to him just because I think this is one of his standout games, and we've seen other 70s and 80s from other guys. From him before. It's basically 70s other than that big game he had last week, and then this game of 97. I think we're looking at something similar to the likes of a Soligo, Caldwell potentially, and we also have the potential that Tom Liberatore comes back, although he's meeting with specialist, I am led to believe. So we'll see about that one. Treloar's been amazing this year, and I don't know what exactly his stats are, but I believe if we go here, 987k, 93 break even, so he's averaging 110, and he was amazing other than the sort of a couple of 80 scores, a couple of 90 scores, but other than that, and he has a couple of big top out games. So yeah, basically when he doesn't get the non-disposal points, he's gonna not score that well, but when he gets the non-disposal points, he seems to score really well. You can see this 80 here, he had a 3. Marks and tackles, 5 marks and tackles for the 94 on the week yesterday, 9 marks and tackles for a 93, which was surprising, and then also 5 for an 87. And you see his big games are the big 137 he had 8 and 7, the big 154 he had 7 and 5. So that's sort of where he's getting all his points from. Norton, 88, he was pretty good as well as a lead up target. So was Sam Darcy as well. I thought if he in a couple of years' time when Tim English, because I think Tim English might potentially leave, they're double saying everything. If Tim English leaves, then Sam Darcy will get the major ruck role, and if he gets the major ruck role, he could honestly end up being a 5 mark, 5 tackle, 25 hit out type guy. And that is what, 35, 25, that's already 60, add in the disposals there and a potential for a goal. He could be a 100-point ruckman quite easily just because he's got a really good mark and he also is going to generally get tackles. So yeah, he was a really good point scorer. An 83 out of a part-time ruckman and a key forward is really good scoring. English 80-91. Worried about potentially getting him in. Is he gonna, with the ruck split, is he gonna be good enough with Rowan Marshall scoring so well? Williams, Dreyer, Dale, McRae 72-92 split. Harms 72. Bontempelli somehow got a 93 off of only 71, even though he had 50% efficiency. Just shows he does the little things better than everyone else. Bontempelli, so we talked about Bontempelli. Fraser 51-64. Riley West, Ugle-Hagan, Bramble, Gallagher, O'Donnell, Garcia, Jones, Cleary, Vandermeer, Keith, and then Daniel again not getting on the ground for much as he was the sub. And if we just go to Daniel here, you'll see his price is tanking. He's averaging 48.3. He's going to go to another side, I would suspect, as I don't think he's going to turn up and be sub next year for so, even though he wasn't supposed to play. So this 13 is really, really good to actually get, as he wasn't supposed to play. So, and it lowers his average. So if he goes to another club at 48, he's going to be so undervalued that you just have to jump on him, even though he might be scoring, I would say, and he does actually need to get to the 10 games, Daniel, which could be an issue, but he's got 6 so far. So, and he's not actually scoring relatively well in the games that he's actually playing full time, but it'll be interesting to watch, I reckon. But if we don't get him to the 10 games, he will be priced at basically his 2023 89, and that won't be value. So Caleb Daniel will be a watch just to see if he can get to the 10 games. But that pretty much is the video there, going through the Giants versus Western Bulldogs, in which the Western Bulldogs should have run away with this game. They could have easily scored 100 points on GWS, given they had 30 shots to 13. But they still run away with a 27-point victory, but it should have been about 70 given the shots. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys for the last recap of today, which is the St Kilda versus Fremantle game. So I'll see you guys in that video. Bye, guys.